Transitioning from a high school math teacher to farmer was very different. I definitely had a whole lot to learn. I didn't really know that I had so much to learn. You know, there's a saying that you don't know what you don't know. And there was a whole lot that I didn't know. I definitely have seen more and more women involved. You know, I follow a lot of farms on social media, Instagram, Facebook, and so many of the people I'm following, they're female farmers.
My favorite thing is probably working alongside of my husband and my kids. That also can be the biggest thing I dislike. I honestly cannot think of anything else that I would rather do.
Growing up on a family farm and living on a farm now, I think has benefited me in my position with Independence Bank. When I started with the bank, I wasn't in the commercial lending side, so I did not get to work with our farmers every day. That's something that has transitioned for me because of my background in agriculture. And so for the last several years, that has been a primary part of my role. And I think it helps that come naturally. Our children are learning the ins and outs of the farming, and they love it. It's a lifestyle that I wouldn't trade for any other lifestyle.
My favorite thing to do growing up on the family farm was during harvest season. After Dad dumped the auger full of beans or corn into the big truck, I would get up, climb up the truck, and fall into it and just kind of play around, fill my shirt and my pants full and be a big person. And that's absolutely, and it's still to this day, is my favorite part. I love to play in the grain after it's been harvested. So I'd have to say that my father is probably one of the biggest reasons that I pursued a career in agriculture, because I went off to college and I started learning things about agriculture, and I would call home and say, "Hey Dad, did you know that you can do this to your corn crop and it can help make you more yield?" And when he started saying, "No, I didn't know that," and when I started to educate him, that made me so excited.
It was definitely a man's world when I first started, you know, especially riding around with my dad, Dan, and with Alan Murray. You know, you go to all these different farms, and most of the time you are put in front of the male figure on the farm. But as you actually get out and realize there are so many women that help out with the operation, they might not be physically behind that tractor that day. A lot of the upkeep and management of the farm is actually kind of behind the scenes, and most of them are the mother, the grandmother, you know, the sister that is really back there keeping everything together.
Anytime you have a farm and you run a farm for a living, it's just like if you run your own business. So anytime you run a business, you have to financially manage that business. So doing taxes for farmers is just a way that I can help them financially manage their farming and their business and their way of life. Well, the ag industry affects everybody, not just our community. It feeds everybody, it clothes everybody. It's more than just a community lifestyle, but especially in our community, the majority of people, it's their everyday living.
I think women have a more public role now. Instead of just being in the home, women seem to be the ones keeping the books, the ones that are, you know, we're partners now instead of just the wife at home who makes lunches. You know, that role is over. It's all new now. It's all new. I mean, women are running the farms now. They're making the big, hard decisions.
It's very important to educate the youth in agriculture, because you would be surprised how many young kids think that chocolate milk comes from a brown cow. This year, we've been fortunate enough to have an all-female agronomy team, and since we've started doing this contest, we've been very successful. I've been very fortunate that Camille Lambert, our county extension agent, and Mindy Jones, she's an agronomist for Pioneer, they have worked with this team. It's kind of unique because we have an all-female group. We have a 16-acre land lab that we get to utilize for instructional purposes. So our students are very involved from the planting aspect of it to the harvesting aspect, and that's a great teaching tool that not a lot of high school ag ed programs have, and we're very fortunate enough to have that in our own backyard.
My favorite season is definitely summer, because I love driving down the roads and seeing corn and tobacco being grown and stopping at my friend's watermelon patch to pick a watermelon.
My dad has definitely been my biggest influence in wanting to pursue a career in agriculture. He's always worked really hard and he's a successful person, and I just want to be like him.
FFA, a lot of people just think it's just agriculture. Like, a lot of people don't join because it's you live on a farm, you get to be an FFA. That's not the case. It teaches you leadership, dedication, and hard work.
Well, I think you have to be ready, aware that it's not a 9-to-5 job. You know, there were droughts and there were tough times, but wouldn't trade it.